In today's video, I'm going to show you how to build a Notion membership website that looks and functions beautifully. Here's an example. You can check it out at notionaesthetics.com. I release new cover photos in Notion every single month, and I already have a few premium packs that are available right here, and you can pay the monthly subscription or the lifetime subscription to get access to these packs. I also have a free pack available, and I have a video coming out about these packs that are here soon. But this video is about how to create this sort of website where you have these Notion cover photos available, and you can click on these buttons right here and it will prompt you to create an account. You can click on the premium button and it will prompt you to create an account, and then it will show you some different payment options, including monthly or lifetime, which is another neat feature that I'll show you how to easily implement. And as you can see, everything looks super well branded. I've got this yellow theme going throughout, and I also have this dark mode theme going throughout, and the whole thing is just like basically these cover photos that I have that are available to people who are either premium users or free users, and they have to sign up basically to access the content on here. So this is what's called gated content. If I don't want somebody to have access to this until they pay for it or until they create an account, then this is gated content. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to very simply create gated content using a simple Notion website. Now, there are a few different softwares involved with this process, so I want to go over how to build a membership website using Notion. And these are the different softwares that are going to be involved. We of course have Notion, and the Notion that we use in this video doesn't have any pricing associated with it. You can use the free version of Notion, so I put $0 for that. And this is the text and the database and the images and the videos that you are going to upload to your website. The beauty of Notion as your CMS or your content management system is that you can update Notion and that will update your website almost instantaneously. So this is super useful if you're not super tech savvy but you know a thing or two about Notion. You can basically manage the back end of your website. Next up, we have Super.SO, and Super.SO is the styling that goes on top of your Notion website. So your Notion website you can think of as the back end content, and Super.SO you can think of as the styling layer. So with Super, with some of their paid plans, you're able to get a custom domain linked up with Super, and that's how I set up notionaesthetics.com with that custom domain that links to this. So if you want, you can get a custom domain, or Super provides you with a domain if you are just going with a free Super account. So there are some options. It's kind of a sliding scale, and the $28 per month package has some very fancy bells and whistles that I don't have access to because I have Super's mid-tier pricing plan. But you can think of Super as that middle layer where you can add some code on top of Notion, you can add some styling on top of Notion, and you can think of Notion as sort of just the content in the back end. And then next up, we have the next third-party tool, and that is MemberSpace. Now, guys, MemberSpace has a very neat functionality of allowing you to have a full membership website just through the use of a pop-up window and some simple JavaScript code that you can add to your website so that this thing can load up when people click on a simple button on your website. Now, the pricing for MemberSpace is $0 to $49 per month. They have a free plan for $0, or they have the $49 per month plan. And typically with all of these plans, the $49 per month plan is going to give you more flexibility with the customization of the look and feel of this thing. It's going to give you a bit more customization overall, and same goes with Super.SO. It just gives you a bit more flexibility. But if you go with the $0 per month plan, you're probably going to have these companies, you're going to have their branding on this stuff, and it just doesn't look super professional, but it is an okay way to start if you just have an idea that you want to test out. And then the result of all of this is a total price of $0 to $77 per month and 5% of your transactions on here. And guys, what you'll get is a fast, easy to maintain, robust membership website. So you're going to get all three of these softwares working together to get an awesome result. Now let's delve into the chapters of this video. We're going to start out with the wireframe of your idea. You can skip this if you have an idea in mind and you're very Notion savvy and you're also design oriented, but this is kind of just a crash course if you don't have any web development background or you don't have an idea of consistent consistent design or an understanding of consistent design. If you don't know how to make a website look generally nice, then you can skip the wireframing, but I recommend watching this first chapter, but it isn't 100% essential. And then we're going to dive directly into building inside of Notion. After we build the website in Notion, every single page involved, we're going to hook it up with Super.SO. And on Super.SO, we're going to set up the styling. We're going to set up all of the code for MemberSpace. We're going to set up any other code that we need to. And we're also going to take a look at setting up MemberSpace. And I'm going to show you where you can put that code from MemberSpace into Super.SO and plug that in with your website so that you have this sort of gated content on your different Notion pages. The beauty of this is you can create any sort of gated data. So you could create a gated blog post where you post different things, and you could have like a $2 per month, hey, buy me a coffee sort of thing. If you buy me a coffee, you get access to all my blog posts. You could have something like that, or you could have a $150 per month investment analysis with charts and different databases that shares your updated analysis of different investments. And obviously a lot of people that do that kind of stuff, it's not financial advice, but some people do have these back-end portals that they charge a lot of money for. So it could be anything from like that $2 per month blog post updates to a full database that's live updated and it always has new up-to-date information and it's going to help people make informed decisions. Or you could sell photos or videos, course content, whatever you might come up with. The beauty of the membership website is its versatility. Let's talk about wireframing your website, or you can skip this part if you're lazy. So for my website, I had a homepage, and then what I wanted to do is I just wanted to link out to some different packs that I have for different cover photos that I'm selling for Notion. I have a lo-fi themed page that shows all of my lo-fi cover photos that I have for sale to my premium members. Same with the low poly pack. These are going to be the low poly cover photos. It's just a different art style than lo-fi. And these are also a premium pack. And then we have Wireframe, which is our free pack. So these are the 4 pages that I have for my website: home, lo-fi, low poly, and Wireframe. As I said, Wireframe is the free page. Home is like where the guests land and where new people land and anyone that comes to the website will end up. And then lo-fi and low poly, those are the premium areas of my website that I want to be gated off. So I've gone ahead and, kind of planned out the pages that I'm going to add in Notion right here. Now, I also came up with the idea to put different art inside of each of these. So I have multiple pieces of art, which are these different Notion cover photos underneath each of these categories. So these are all pretty similar databases. The only difference is these pieces of art are labeled under lo-fi, these ones are low poly, and these ones are wireframe. So you guessed it, these ones under wireframe are all free, and these ones under low poly and lo-fi are all paid pieces of content. And then home is where new people and where any user that just comes to the website or a guest will land before they've signed in. So lo-fi and low poly are going to be gated for certain people. Wireframe is going to be free for certain people. How are we going to handle all of these different membership requirements? Well, that's where MemberSpace comes in and just eliminates the entire headache that we have, and it doesn't require any real special development skills. I'm going to show you how to do it very easily today with MemberSpace. Now, the most exciting part about wireframing is actually wireframing your website. So once you've identified all the templates and views that you need to create, all the visual components that need to be created, and all of the colors that are going to be involved, the typography, once you have all of that laid out, you can think about how all of these pages need to come together. So for instance, you might sketch out in a software, or you might sketch it out on a piece of paper, your homepage and what you want it to look like, and the text that you want to use, the colors that you want to use, what the buttons should look like. And you want to make sure that you have consistent sizes, consistent colors, and consistent spacing throughout your website. You can also lay out where you want the different databases inside of Notion that you're going to create, whether they have free content or paid content inside of them. Once you specify these things, you can also start specifying typography, like mainly your heading 1, which is your most important heading. It's usually your biggest heading, and it's also the heading that is used for SEO purposes if you're trying to rank your site. Then the H2 is kind of like what you can think of as the next most important priority sized heading. And these headings are like, they can be used for a title of something on a page. They can be similar to H1, they just don't hold as much weight in terms of SEO as an H1 does. Usually they're a bit smaller, but sometimes I use the same or a very similar H2 to my H1. And then H3 is heading 3. And I'm not going to keep going down the list because you also have heading 3 and you have paragraph. These are just the types of text you can use. You might be used to seeing these from something like Microsoft Word or Google Docs. When you go into the text presets, you can see these things typically, these different heading styles. So you basically just set the different styles of text that are going to be throughout your website, like the headings and the paragraphs. You can also set like what you want the buttons to look like and the links, just so you have consistency throughout. You can also set up the colors and figure out what hex code is associated with them. I go in depth on this entire process in my other video on how to build a website in Notion, but I'm trying to make this one a bit quicker. So that is going to be it for how to wireframe your website and plan for it. Hopefully you have enough information now that you can plan out these elements that I've talked about, and you'll be ready for the next phase of this tutorial. All right, now let's get into the building portion inside of Notion. So we need to actually build our website that we've planned out in our wireframe. So in order to do that, we're going to arrange some columns in Notion, and we're also going to arrange some sections. These are the different ways that I'm going to make up this website, and it's the simplest way for me to explain this. So here we can put the title of our homepage, which in most cases is going to be home. And then underneath that, we can start constructing our menu. So we can write home. And if you have an about page or something like that, you could do about, drag it to the side of home. You could do another page. Let's say, for instance, you have some gated content. So let's just say gated. Then you have some free content. So this is just free, right? So I'll show you how to basically block this off so that it's members only content. So people have to basically pay to access it. So now we have the architecture for our menu laid out. And next, what we can do is lay out the architecture for the rest of the page. So what we're going to do, start with a big open section and a heading 1. So I'm going to do /heading 1, and we have heading 1 here. And here we can have a call to action. And underneath that, we can just have some paragraph text for a subheading. So the subheading can go here. Obviously, I'm not being very creative right now. I'm just making an attempt to teach you guys how to do this without using a defined business. But again, take a look at notionaesthetics.com. That's kind of an idea of what I want to show you guys how to do today. That's another website that I built. Okay, so now let's add a button. And for buttons, I like to use a heading 3. We can just put click here. And this can be a link to anything that we want. So you can make it a link to purchase your paid plan if you want to and get access to that gated content, or you can just make it link to, let's say, my YouTube channel. Okay, so that's how you'd make a simple section. Okay, this is what I would consider a section. So it's kind of like a hero section, and it's a single column hero section. There's only one column here. But if we wanted to create a new section with multiple columns, then here I could hit plus and we could type in column, and you'll see that we can go 2, 3, 4, or 5 columns. Okay, so let's do a 3 column, and here I can put 1, 2, and 3 columns. If you want to, you can also make this full screen, but for websites, I tend to prefer this boxed version. Okay, here's full width, here's the boxed version. So just something to note, if you want that for your design, you can make it a little bit more of like a full width thing. So here we have section 1, which is just like a hero. And then section 2 is going to have 3 columns. Okay, so here we could put in some headings. So let's put in heading 2. So I'll just put widgets. So widget 1, widget 2, and 3. There we go. And what we can do here is we can link these. We can also bring in some images if we wanted to, just to make this section look a little bit more interesting. So we could just do /image. We have Giphy for GIFs, and we have Unsplash for anything else that we want, just regular images. I'll just use these in this example. I'm going to drag them above each of my widgets, and I'll just duplicate this, and we'll go ahead and swap these out. And later on, I'll show you how to make all of these the same size so that we don't have these weird different sized images here. Even though this one would look a bit strange, I'll still show you guys how to confine all of these to the same size in a later step. So what I will do next is create another section. So I can just copy this first section if I like it at this point, and I can just paste it down here. It won't have our heading 3 here. It won't have a button. It'll just be another call to action with a subheading, and then it's going to have a database here. So what I can do is just slash inline database, and this could be like our blogs database. So I'm going to hide the database title, change the name of this to blog, and I'll delete that. And it really only needs to be our blog title. So let's say we have a blog on the Grand Canyon, and then we have a blog on Yosemite Blue Ridge Mountains. Okay, so that's just my guess at what all of these different places are. I'm not 100% sure. I'm probably wrong on that, but I have these blogs listed out here. And if I wanted to, I could hit these 3 dots, go to layout, and go to gallery. And this is what I prefer, changing these to small and making it page cover, fit image, and then we can go and find images of all of these things here on Unsplash. So I can find the Grand Canyon. Okay, yep, looks great. I can find Yosemite, and I can find the Blue Ridge Mountains. There we go. So that's what the fit version looks like. I did turn that on, but I might turn the image off because I actually do like how it expands on that view. So, and then inside of here, what I can do is I can add in like an author if I wanted. I can add a property of person, and we'll just go ahead and call that author. And I'll add myself as the author of all of these. And there we go. Now, if I want to show the author on the blog post, I can go to properties and I can go author. And then we can also add in a property of date last edited. So I could say updated, or that was last edited by. I need to change this to last edited time. So updated is what I could call that. And then what we could do is instead of just showing the last updated time without it saying updated, without you having to hover, if we wanted to say updated and then actually say the time, we could do that with a formula. So what I'm going to show you next is how to set up the formula we can do to make that happen. So formula, and we're just going to call this clean last edited. And what we'll do next is go into this empty clean last edited. And what we want to do is we want to type in concat for concatenate. This is going to allow us to add 2 things together. So what we can do in effect is we can put some quotes here and we can say last updated, and then we can do plus, and we can pull in the updated property. So I can type in plus updated. And then if I close that off, oh, this isn't text. So what I have to do is I have to formatting around that, and bingo, just hit done. And last updated July 30th, 2023. There is an issue though. They needed a space there. So I'm going to add that space, hit done. And now we have a clean last updated date. So I can go ahead and hide this property right here. I can always hide because we don't need to see that. We just need the clean last edited, and I'll just say edited, and we'll go ahead and put a clock right there. So we know last updated, and it says right there. Okay, next I'm just going to get some dummy content. I'm going to ask AI to write, and I'm going to go down to blog post about Yosemite and the top 10 most beautiful views. Okay, and then hopefully these are popular enough that we can find some open source images that we can use, and we can sprinkle these in as well. So for tunnel view, for instance, so what I could do is I could just type /image, could go over to Unsplash, and I could type in tunnel view Yosemite. And I'm going to assume that this is tunnel view. I'm not entirely sure. You'll have to do some more research, but that is essentially how you would set this up. And you could write a caption, tunnel view, maybe. Fact check me. Okay, so that is how you would kind of like add images and sprinkle them in. Okay, now I'm going to go back to Untitled, and you'll say, whoa, it's taking me back to Untitled on the home page here. Okay, that's fine, because what we'll do in the future is we're not going to have this breadcrumb up here. here, we're also not going to show some of this stuff the way that you see it right now. So it's not going to look exactly the same. So just stick with me as I build this thing. You can go further down the page and you can add more sections, but for now, I'm just going to stick with these sections on the home page. So at this point, I'm going to go to share, I'm going to go to publish, and I'm going to go ahead and copy this web link, make sure the page is live to the web. And then I'm going to head over to home and I'm going to paste that link right there, hit enter. So now we have a link to our home page. And if I click on it, it just keeps taking me back to the home page. Now we have to create new pages for about, gated, and free. Okay, so gated is going to be these pieces of content right here. So this is just going to be something that is kind of enticing, that's trying to get people to click on these different blog posts, and then it'll pull them to the sign up window. That's the idea, at least. So I'm just going to say learn about nature. Okay, and then the subheading will be for only $7 per month. Okay, and we'll just say explore travel views. And this is totally generic, guys, but I'm just going to add some text. I can ask AI to write about headings as well. So I'm just going to say create a heading for my travel news subscription service. Okay, so it went pretty generic with it. That's okay. Better than heading 1, I suppose. So I'm also going to go ahead and add a subheading, right? A subheading. Okay, let's see what it does. I didn't give it much information. Okay, discover nature's beauty. And it made it a heading 2. That's fine, but I'm going to change it back to text. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and get rid of the camel case. I don't know why AI loves this word nature. They say nature all the time in AI, or the models always use nature's beauty or nature's brilliance. I don't know why they do that. Probably because it had nature down here already, and I think that was a user error, so maybe that was on me. Okay, so now the homepage is pretty much done. Now this part gets a little bit tricky, adding these next pages. We want to make sure that we have continuity and we keep all of these pages basically in one spot. So down here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go /page, and I'm going to add in our about page. I'm going to add in our gated content and our free content. So go gated. Okay. And lastly, let's go /page free. Okay. So we have about, gated, and free, and I'm just going to go to each of them. I'm going to hit share, and we'll go publish, copy link, then we'll go back to home here, and we're just going to paste it for each one. So that was for about, so I'm going to link it. And then here for gated, if I hit link, should be able to just type gated actually, and it should link to it. And then here I could link and I can type free and it should link to it. Okay, so that should be linked up now. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this whole block right here, all of these links. I'm going to go to each page, hit enter, paste, gated, enter, paste, free, enter, paste. And now when I go to each of these, it should take me to each page. And since I've already built this homepage, I can just grab all of this stuff and then I can keep what's needed and get rid of what is not necessary. So I'm gonna paste that on about, I'm gonna paste that on gated, and I'm gonna paste that on free. So now they're all gonna look like the homepage, but I can basically build off the style and the layout that I already have in place. So on about, I can just write about me. I can just write my name, and then here I could just put in a personal picture of me, maybe like a headshot or something like that. And I don't need this on my page. I don't need to click here either. Let's align this to the left. All right, let's get a good picture of me here. All right, I'm gonna drag this in. All right, I've just dragged this image of me in here, and I'm just going to get rid of that old one, left align that. You know what? I'll actually just get rid of this down here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and ask AI, make this longer and write about me for 3 sentences. All right, did a terrible job. Let's replace it anyways. All right, next we're gonna go to gated, and on gated, it's just gonna be very simple. It's gonna be access to this specific content, all this premium content here. Okay, so I want it to just show the premium content when we go to gated. So in this case, what we want is a filter, and we can add in a property actually on these. Let's just click on one of these, add a property, and we can do a select property. We can go status, and I can say it's either free or it's paid. Okay, so this is going to be free. So will Yosemite, and then Grand Canyon will be paid. I'm also going to ask AI to fill these out. Okay, and then what I want to do here on the gated page is I want to go ahead and filter, and I want to add a rule for status is paid. Okay, so now this is going to show the paid content. Now, if I go to free, I want to do the same, but I just want to show the free content. So let's go ahead and delete that. And since this database is inline and I just duplicated it, I'm just going to delete this actually. And I'm going to go back to gated. I want to go ahead and I want to copy this. So I'm just going to go ahead and go back to, now I want to use the one from gated over here. So I'm just going to give this a name just so that I can recognize it. This one's going to be paid, and we'll go to free, and I'm just going to go / linked view of database. And I think it's this untitled one that's on gated. Yep. And then I'm going to do a new empty view, call it free gallery. We're going to copy all of the same settings from that other page so that it looks somewhat consistent. I'm going to open this as a full page. It should open as a full page, but if it doesn't on the other one, I will set that up. We're also going to show some more properties because I want to show last updated. Also want to show the author here. We'll drag author above last edited. And these are the free ones that we want to see. So let's go ahead and close the properties now and go to filter. And we're going to go to filter by the status of free, save for everyone. Beautiful. So now we have our free blog posts, our gated blog posts, our about page, and our home page, which features everything. I'm just going to say access premium posts. All right. So now we should have all of our pages ready to go right here. This is a very simple setup for a website, but this is a good enough website for an example for this video. So the next step is to head over to Super, and I have a link in the description. So head over to Super using that link if you would like to. It may be an affiliate link. I'm not sure if I have an affiliate link with Super. They may give me a small kickback. Once you head over to Super, it's going to look something like this. So you can go ahead and get started for free by clicking this yellow button here, or you can sign in if you already have an account. I'm going to briefly go over the pricing for Super. I am personally on the personal site. You can go up to the pro site if you want some of these more advanced features, which could come in handy in some cases. But I think the personal site is the sweet spot for most people. It allows you to add custom code to your site, and I am going to show you how to utilize that feature today. And it also allows you to connect an existing custom domain, which is very handy if you have a domain. Like with my notionaesthetics.com website, I wanted to have my own domain. I didn't want it to have site.super.so attached to it or anything like that. I just wanted it to be my clean, nice domain in the address bar. So that is a feature that I like to have. So I went with this personal site. Also removes the made with super badge. Like I mentioned early on, if you purchase the paid plans for these, they usually get rid of the badges for these companies to promote themselves. But the free plan is okay for getting started. So you can basically do everything that I'm going to show in this video, other than the custom coding and the connecting of the domain, the removing of the badge. Those are the sort of things that I would say really make the personal site a lot nicer. Pro site, the main things that I like are the manual publishing controls. So if you want to make some changes and you don't want to publish them right away, you can do that. You can also refresh the cache. Sometimes there is a small lag in the updating time and you don't see the exact changes that you made on the personal site and free site, but it just takes some extra time to see your changes reflected. Or you can just spam refreshing your browser and hope that you see your changes come to life quicker. But with cache refresh, I have a feeling that that helps speed up the changes and clears out your cache faster so that you can see the changes across your site. Advanced search, pretty self-explanatory. You know, I assume that it allows you to search for anything on the site through the use of a search bar. Very handy for some types of sites like wikis. Then we'd also have priority support. If you are looking for help from Super with your site, this could come in handy, and they have more coming soon, it sounds like. So they're really pouring into this pro site. For yearly billing, they do have some discounts. You save some money if you go with the yearly billing. So that is essentially what you have to choose from. So you can get started with one of these plans if you would like. Once I log into Super, I will see all of my websites right here under the sites tab. And I just have this one site, notionaesthetics.com right here. But if I want to add my new site, I can just hit create site. And it's very simply going to ask me for two things, the site name and the Notion share URL. So we can get these two things. We already have our Notion website over here, and I can just simply hit share on the homepage, go to publish and copy this link, head back over to Super, and I can paste the Notion share URL. The name I'm going to go with is travel news, and I'm going to go ahead and create this site. And as I said here, it's just going to be travel-news.super.site. So in this case, this will be fine. If you want to, you can upgrade and you can get a custom domain and custom code, which I will show you how to do the custom code, and you'll also get a lot more. So you can upgrade if you want, but I'm not going to upgrade. I'm just going to leave this site as is, and I'm going to show you the free features first. So let's go to settings. And first of all, you'll notice that it does still have these breadcrumbs here. So if I go to about, it's going to have about and home here. It's also going to have home ungated. So this actually looks good. The menu did a pretty good job of figuring out what the home page was and what's attached to it. So I might end up sticking with this menu up here because I know that you can just edit the menu in pages here, I believe. So you can add a site favicon right here in settings. That is just basically the little icon that shows up right here. So if I wanted to, I could upload an icon. I don't necessarily have one, so I'm just going to leave that blank. Set the site to English. Perfect for me. And if I go to domains here, as you can see, I can set my default domain, the free domain that Super gives you, or you can get a custom domain or buy one from Super. Here are the pages. You can sync up the URLs so that if they basically are these long, annoying Notion URLs, you get just prettier URLs that are based on the names of these pages right here. So you can set that up if you want to. And as you can see, there's nothing showing up inside of this because we don't have any pages, I guess. I don't know why it's not picking up those, but I will show you how to hide these if you have the $16 per month version. If you don't hide them, it'll just bring you to said page, but they are a bit annoying. So you can also set up SEO, so you can enable search engine indexing if you have the paid plan. I'm going to go to design and I'm just going to save changes before I go there. But here we are on design, and here I can change the colors. So there is light mode and dark mode. I'm going to go with dark mode. I think it looks better. And then we have like some different palettes you can go with. They have all kinds of different palettes. I really like the looks of some of these. And then you can change specifics like the main page background, which is like everything, it appears. I'm going to reset that. You can also just change the nav bar like this up here. You can change the text color in the nav bar or something like that. So you can change really all of that, but this theme, I kind of like how it looks already. So I'm just going to leave it. Scroll bar handle, I kind of like how that's minty. Maybe we go with like a blue color from this Blue Ridge Mountain. Try to find something kind of similar to it. There we go. That looks pretty good. Then I can go to nav bar here. Let's hit save. And I can change the nav bar. If we want a simple nav bar, it'll look like this. And that will take you home. You can go to about. That'll always take you home. And basically you can just use the nav bar that we pre-installed right here. So that doesn't have like the breadcrumb, I suppose. I think that's the only difference. And it also makes this logo here larger. You can change out the logo if you want, or you can change the text that they have. Looks like you can also add an icon. So let's just add in a palm tree. It looks pretty good. I'm just going to ultimately end up sticking with this nav bar down here though. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to hide this if you do want to pay to upgrade for the custom designs. So let's get into some of the more custom features and the ways that you can customize this site further. And then after that, I'm going to get into using member space to gate out your website and make it a true membership website. Next, I'm going to show you how to add some CSS to your website using Super. So what we can do is go to this code tab down here, then switch to CSS. And we can add CSS to alter different bits of our website. I'm going to go ahead and open up this preview over here of my website. Just by clicking on this URL in Super, you can open up a preview of your website. So what I'm going to do is just inspect this website by right-clicking on different things, different elements, like this home title, and then it will tell me what that element is classified as in HTML. So I can go in here and I can find specific bits of the website that I want to alter. And this is actually easier than you might think. Some of you might already know how to do this, but for those of you who don't know how to do this, just stick around and we'll make it nice and simple. I'll try to explain it in as much detail as possible without making it overcomplicated. I want anybody to be able to basically follow along. So what I notice here is this Notion header class contains the home. It also contains everything up to the nav bar. It doesn't include the nav bar up here. But if I say wanted to get rid of this Notion header, I could just grab this class right here. I could just copy it, head back over to Super, and right here I could do dot, and then I could paste. And dot is the way that you reference a class using CSS, which is a styling language. So dot says, hey, we've got a class, it's called Notion header, and then I'm gonna put some curly brackets, and within these curly brackets, I can define a style. So one of the styles we can define is display. So if I type display and then I type colon and type none, what it's going to do is it's going to completely get rid of that. It's display none. So that's what it does. It gets rid of that whole header section that was highlighted here when I had this hovered over Notion header class. So the next thing I want to get rid of is this Notion nav bar up here. I'm going to go ahead and copy that, and we're going to head back over and we're going to do the same exact thing for the nav bar. Just want to completely get rid of it because we already have one. So don't necessarily need that nav bar. There we go. Now we have our own nav bar here. Next thing I want to get rid of is these guys down here. So let's scroll down on our test site here, and don't click on it because it will take you to that page. But what you can do is you can hover over everything, and when you see the wrapper for all of the content, you can click into it, and then you can just go deeper into this content here, and you can find the different blocks inside of the Notion page. And then you'll see these block about, block gated, and block free. These are IDs. So you reference these with a hashtag or a pound. So let's go back to Super and go pound paste. Okay. And then we want to go display none once again, and that's getting rid of that about there. So now we're going to do the same for block dash gated, and we're going to do the same for block slash free. Now we've gotten rid of those, a little bit cleaner looking. We're going to go ahead and clean up the sizing on these images next. So let's go ahead and head back over to our preview site, find the image blocks. Here they are. Okay, so we have Notion column as a class that I keep seeing pop up here, and Notion column list. So let's just go with this. Well, let's open this up first. Let's see what the image is. Notion image is the class it appears. Yeah, so let's try this Notion image class. So what I want to do is add dot Notion dash image and then space img to target the images within that selection. Then we're going to put our curly brackets and we're going to type in height colon, and I can add how many pixels I want. So let's say 100 pixels as a starting point, but I can add 150 pixels, let's say, and that works out pretty well. So I like the looks of that. It looks a little bit cleaner. It looks a little bit nicer. I might go back into Notion and space out these columns and sections a bit more even at this point, or I might go in and turn off like this property right here for last edited so that I just see the last updated property, or I might even turn off both of these properties in the database view here. Now it does want me to upgrade before it allows me to see this on the live site. So I'm just going to save changes and hope that it saves in my CSS here. So I'm back here in Notion, and as you can see, you can add as many spaces here as you want between these different sections. And I'm going to delete a lot of these spaces because they don't need to be here anymore because I'm not hiding those pages down there. We already have display none on, but I do want to hide some of these properties in here. So I'm going to click on these three dots, go to properties, and we're going to hide the updated and the edited, just have the author. And then if we come into here, we can see the edited and the author, which is fine, but I don't want to see all of that stuff on the front page. And it's fine if we just have the edited here, but we don't need to see the updated, which is the shortened version without the text for context. Now, if we want to make it so that this content is gated and people can't just click around and access it all for free, we can do that, but we're going to have to use a tool called MemberSpace. You can find my link to MemberSpace below this video. So this is what the back end of MemberSpace looks like once you sign up. You can hit connect a new website, and let's go ahead and select our website address. We're just going to copy the URL from my homepage and I'm going to paste it in here. And I'll just call it travel news and we'll go ahead, add that here in MemberSpace as well. And for the platform, we'll go with Notion, hit next. And here we can select if we want recurring, one-time, multiple, or free. And you can have as many plans as you want. I'm just going to go with a free plan, but if you wanted to, you could go to one-time, multiple, or recurring, and you could connect your Stripe account. Okay, Stripe is very easy to set up if you have a bank account and a business here in the US. I'm not sure about elsewhere, but Stripe is a good option. So you can connect Stripe here. And then with free, they don't force you to connect Stripe, obviously, because they don't need you to collect payment. But here I can add a free plan. So I'm just gonna call it free plan, additional plan description. You can add more details about the plan here. Let's keep the plan expiration at none. After they sign up, I want it to redirect them home. And when they log in, I'll send them to the home page as well. And it's enabled. So I'm gonna hit next. And then it's gonna give me some script here that I can copy and I can paste it into my website here under the head tag. Now for this, you are gonna need to upgrade the website if you want this to run this script. So I'm gonna hit save changes, and you're not gonna see the functionality of this on this travel news site. But if you go over to notionaesthetics.com, you'll see that with MemberSpace, I can create these little boxes that are branded to the same branding that I have here on my Super.SO site. For the rest of this video and for this MemberSpace advanced portion, I'm going to be using my pro site here, Productive Dude, that I have a subscription with, so that I can show you guys how this works. So let's click into Notion Aesthetics Productive Dude. As you can see, I don't have anyone really in this yet. It's just in a testing period and I haven't marketed this yet. So once I do, hopefully it takes off a bit more. But right now the stats are pretty limited. Now, one thing that you'll want to do is you'll want to go into member plans, and you're going to want to create some different plans and make sure that you get some sign up links for these plans. So I have a lifetime plan that's a one-time $60 payment, and I have a monthly plan that's $10 per month. Okay. And then I have some free plans that have access to certain pages as well. So all of these plans can have access to different pages. You can have a private plan like this. That's a free plan if you want to give away some free licenses for whatever it is that you're gating access for. And this is where you can create coupons, you can get links for these different plans, and you can create a new member plan. So here are all the types of member plans that you can create. You would just give it a plan name, payment amount, payment interval, billing date, and all of these other features here. The next thing that you'd want to do is just go through all of your Notion pages and select which ones you want them to have access to, because these pages are all of the gated pages right here. I'll show you how to add member pages as well if you haven't added those yet. This is where they go after they sign up, which is just the home page. And this is where they go when they log in, which is also just the home page. And you can make the plan public and enable it here if you want this to be something that people can sign up for. So that's how you create a plan. Now I'm going to go to member pages, which are right here. This is where you define which pages are protected and which members have access to them. So here I can enter a URL. This is a URL for one of my pages. It's just / and then the following URL right here. And what I want to do is I want to protect this, and I want only lifetime access and monthly access to get access to this page. And you can include it in the member menu, which is a page that's displayed for your members, but I usually turn that off. And then you can just hit add now here. And that will give these plans access to this page, and everyone else will be locked out of this if they don't have one of these plans. So that's pretty straightforward on how to create membership plans and member pages. It's actually probably more advantageous to create your member pages first and then go through and link all of them right here. You can just jump between MemberSpace and Super to do this, and you can make pretty quick work of it if you can copy all of your links over fast and select which plans should have access to those links. Next, you can go to this Customize tab right here, and this allows you to change the wording that people see on various screens. You can also change the look and feel, change integrations, sign up fields. These are those advanced features that are going to make your membership platform feel unique and feel custom to your company. So definitely don't miss out on editing these, because you might be missing out on new customers if you don't have these looking nice nice. Pretty nice. You can change what everything says for the most part right here just by going in here and saving the changes for these different fields. I hope you did enjoy today's video, and I hope that you got some insights on how to create a membership site using Notion, Super.SO, and MemberSpace. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below or join my Notion group where I do live Q&As from time to time. You can find a link to that below as well. All right, looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video.